Originally, teaching was not my plan. When I was in college, I studied political science, I studied Spanish, and my whole thing is I'm so interested and so excited about public policy. The way that I see it, any problem that we face, we have the capacity to fix it through legislation. That's the way that I view the world. And so as I was studying all these things about policy in school, I spent some time looking at education policy, and it just absolutely rocked my world. Like, the history of education in this country, where we're at, what works, what doesn't, how much has changed, how little has changed, just the whole thing. I was fascinated by it. And then as I was learning more about this, I was like, I would really like to work in education policy, but I felt personally very, very strongly that I had no business working in ed policy in any way without having at least some classroom experience. So through that, I began looking for how could I teach, where could I teach. I found Teach for America, which is the organization that brought me originally to Tulsa. I did my 2 years with that program and did my third year. I'm sticking around this upcoming year because, one, I still think that I want to work in policy. I still know that I want that experience, and like, teaching is it's so much fun. It makes me so happy. I learn so much. I am challenged every day. But I think that's what brought me to education, that policy idea. But then once I got to it, once I got teaching, it was kind of like this light bulb moment of, how did I not think about this sooner? It's everything I like. It's learning, it's reading, it's working with people, it's coaching, mentor, like the whole thing. It is the perfect intersection of every single thing I'm interested in. So I did take a moment. It felt kind of silly when I was like, oh, of course I want to be a teacher. Obviously I want to be a teacher. That's a short version how I get here. Right now my plan is to go to graduate school for policy, not this fall, but the following fall. And somewhat jokingly, but there's a lot of seriousness to it, I expect this time next year to be having a pretty tough time at the idea of leaving the classroom for any period of time. I think that's going to be really rough, but I do think that that's the right move.